Sure, now to another very critical sector of the economy. We're talking about the MSMEs. For 2015, it was a mixed bag for most of them. And talking about that with me now is Ayo Emahiome. He's the CEO Coinbox and also a business development consultant. A good morning to you, Ayo. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, Harriet. Thank you for having me.
So let's review 2015 for MSMEs, for a sector or for an industry that is as viable as that. A lot of people looked at it that it was just like pouring water on the back of a duck, because everything you did, you threw at the MSMEs, it just seemed as if it shook it off and carried on. But looking at the issues, the main issue, which I know continues to be, is funding, access to funding. But then, was it a case of the funds not being there or not being able to access it?
Well, I will come from this angle. First of all, if you check statistics, the MSME sector actually it's not that it didn't grow. For example, it will surprise you, the services sector grew by almost 20%. Sorry, we are still in 2015, this year. You get it. So,
well, it's about 48 hours
yes.
to the end of the year, so it's fine.
So the services sector grew. And some other sectors too grew, like agricultural sector. So there was growth. It's just that it wasn't significant to be noticed. You get. But when you come to your last question, the challenge is not the funding. We have a lot of money available. Bank of Industry has a lot of money. CBN has money. And then there'll be more money next year in 2016. But the issue is access to that money. The access to getting that money is like going through the eye of the needle. So those are the issues that we now need to address in 2016. The government seems to be ready to address that, so we are hoping that they will do what they've already promised.
Okay, so now I will ask you the question that a lot of people have always asked, or most people have asked. Funding and more funding. We're having the government stepping in now, first time ever, announcing the budget that 300 billion naira will be an intervention fund for MSMEs. So you have the government intervention fund coming in. You have other intervention funds from the CBN, from SMEDAN, from BOI, and other such organizations that are supposed to cater for MSMEs. So it now seems as if you have so much funds to play with.
Plenty of money.
Too much money.
No, plenty of money.
Okay, plenty of money. You don't say it's too much money, it's plenty of money, but how will it help this sector? We need to ramp up this sector because, as you rightly identify, this is the sector that creates the easiest of jobs, the quickest of jobs, for you to begin to earn money.
Well, the truth of the matter is that when I look at the 2016 budget, I'm excited. But at the same time, I am worried. Last year, the budget too was very exciting. Sorry, I keep saying last year. We are still in 20. The budget was very exciting. You get it. But the challenge was now full implementation. And that is my worry, not my fear, for 2016. Now, we are getting more money. We already have over 220 billion available. Now, government is also giving us another 300 billion. And somewhere in between, there's a 500 billion. So there is plenty of money. But all these programs that they've outlined that they want to do, how is it? That's where we are. That's the next thing now. One, we need a clear communication from the government. Clear statement that, okay, this is how we are going to do this. That's one. Then two, which is the most important part, implementing these policies that they've set up such that this money is accessible to enough people.
So funding is not an issue because now you have plenty of.
No more the issue. Yes,
so what is now the issue for MSMEs to get to that level? You said they grew in 2015.
Yes.
But how much further can they grow? And was that number, and even an appreciable number, could they have fared better?
Yes. No matter how much you do, there is always room for improvements. That's the story of life. But in 2016, what we expect, which government has also addressed in their budget, is that there should now be, excuse me, a lot of capacity development. Because one of the major challenges the average SME and even our government has is empowerment. When I say empowerment now, money wealth is actually always available, but the issue usually for wealth is that it starts from the mind, and generally everybody believes that there's no money. Even the government too has said it so much that they now also seem to be, if we use their body language, taking it that there's no money. But the truth of the matter is that if there's enough capacity development, for example, what is this money, what do I need it for, how am I going to use it, then how am I going to pay it back? Even in our budget, if you look at it, there is no specifics of how the money, the over 1 trillion they're going to borrow, is going to be paid back. Because you are supposed to tell me I'm borrowing 1 trillion naira, I'm going to use it on XYZ projects, and based on those projects will give me XYZ amount over XYZ period, and based on that, I will have a net amount which I will pay back. The government itself is not saying this. Although, they've only announced the budget, so probably by January, that will be addressed. But the same thing should now be done for the SMEs. The SMEs should be, the government should create programs such that they are taught their capacity to understand funding and capital generation gets to that point where what I just said now will be addressed.